All right, addicts, this is DJ REM from Rock Addict Radio, and I have Nick from the band StarDog Champion on the line. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm in Michigan, and it's like 75 degrees, so the weather's perfect here. Where you at, man?
I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it's about 80 degrees here and rainy. So, could be better.
You're right. Could use a little sunshine, right?
Yep.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and please also introduce the other members of the band that are not with us today.
Okay. I'm Nick Coyle. I'm the singer and guitar player of the band StarDog Champion. So we have Aaron Fink on guitar and background vocals, Mark James on bass, and Josh Karras on drums and percussion.
Okay, very cool. So, can you kind of go through how StarDog Champion came to be as a band?
Yeah. Well, Mark, Aaron, and myself played together in a band years ago on Universal Records. We were called Lifer, and we remained friends, I guess, over the last 10 years or so while they were doing Breaking Benjamin. And I guess it was about 2 years ago when there was some legal stuff that popped up with those guys in Breaking Benjamin, and at the time they were just looking to just to play some music and stuff. So we got together and talked about writing some songs and just seeing if there was that old spark and that old flame there. So we got together for a couple months and we basically just wrote music and hung out and tried to see where it was all going to go. We knew that we didn't want to do like a Lifer Part 2 or a Breaking Benjamin Part 2. So a lot of it was deciding like what the sound of the band was going to be. So we got together for a couple of months doing that. We just wrote a bunch of songs, and then we decided it was time to bring a drummer on board, and we brought Josh on board, and we solidified it as a band, and then we gave it a name, StarDog Champion, and here we are.
That's very cool, and before I forget, I want to thank Shauna O'Donnell, because she's amazing, and thank her for hooking me up with you guys. So much.
She's awesome.
Much appreciation to her. Yeah, she just works so great with bands, and she always sends me some great guys. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, she's one of the few people out there that are, that have that passion and that drive to make stuff happen in today's crazy music business.
Yes, and the thing that I value the most is she truly cares about the guys and the bands. I mean, she's all about the people.
Yeah, she's like a mom.
Yeah. Oh, Shauna, you just got called a mom on air.
She's the mom I never had.
There you go. So tell me, what's going on with StarDog Champion right now? What do you guys have? Do you guys have any like live shows or anything lined up yet?
Yeah, we I guess it was maybe a month ago or so, we hooked up with a booking agent. So he's been working on some touring plans for us. Right now, I know we have some like one-off stuff in August, and then we're going to do a little run in September. I think it's like 25 dates over 30 days.
Nice.
So I think we will be out there in Michigan. I think there's like a Lansing, Michigan, and maybe a Grand Rapids, Michigan date in the middle of September sometime. So hopefully maybe you guys will be able to make it out.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, if you guys hit Lansing, that's only hour and a half away from me. I will definitely be on the lookout for that and may just show up at your show for sure.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely let you know. I know Shauna will know all the dates and stuff too, so we'll definitely make sure that you find out when it is.
Yeah, don't worry, she'll be bugging me. She'll be like, you gotta go see the guys. So
Awesome.
So how often do you guys all get together and practice and everything?
It varies. There's times when we just get together all the time if we're writing. We just want to do that type of a thing. Or if we have a specific show coming up that we want to rehearse for, we'll just bang out like a week straight or something like that every day. And it's like we've been playing all of us now for 20 plus years each. So, we don't really, it's not really like the typical, we got to get in the room and practice. We've kind of practiced in different bands and together and stuff over 20 years. So, I mean, I guess there's still that, you got to practice as a band and you got to gel as a unit. But, I think we kind of have that. So it's not really we need to rehearse every day type of scenario.
Right. You're seasoned musician, so it makes it easier, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just we kind of just get in and do the stuff that we know that we have to do, and we run efficient practices and things like that. So there's just not really a whole lot. Back when you're a kid and stuff, practice entails getting a couple cases of beer and chilling out and just jamming out all
right.
night. So it's not really like that anymore, but it's our own version of it.
A little more serious, right?
Yeah.
So with everybody's past lives, with the bands they've been in and everything, has that made it easier for you guys to kind of move, StarDog Champion forward, or has it actually made it tougher?
I think it's definitely a little easier because there's a starting point for people to start talking about, as opposed to a band that nobody's heard of or not heard of any of the members. You can bring up, their past band, and people are like, oh yeah, I love that band, or I heard of that band before. So on that aspect, it's definitely like a foot in the door type of thing.
Right.
People will listen, as opposed to just like, oh, it's just another new band. And then, on the downside of it, I guess, is that some people expect, because of where they came from, and where we came from too is Lifer. We were a much heavier band. So whether it be Lifer fans or Breaking Benjamin fans, sometimes some of them might expect when they put this in that it's going to be like Lifer or it's going to be like Breaking Benjamin. And, it's not like that at all. So, you'll have a little bit of negativity of that, where they just think, oh, this is not the same band at all. And, we're not trying to do that same band. So, I guess if you didn't have that past comparison, then you wouldn't have any of that negativity. But, also, you got to take the good with the bad, because then, some people, like I said, it's our foot in the door sometimes when we say the name of where they came from. So, it is what it is, and we just have to rock as a band and just, stand on our own 2 feet and not really have to worry about, either or what the people think what we're doing,
Exactly, and as a fan of music, I totally appreciate the fact that you don't sound like either of those other bands, because I was, I'm like, I wonder what these guys are going to sound like when I first got the track. So I'm like, first of all, I think you guys sound amazing, and I like the fact that you don't sound, obviously you're going to have a little bit of sound, you can't get away from the way you sound, but you guys have your own style, and you listen to you guys, and it's like, okay, this is a new band, and as a fan, I appreciate that.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I think that was, it was conscious for us to do that, because, like I said, you just don't want to do a part 2 of a band that you were in,
Right.
I think that what they did in that band was amazing, and you don't want to taint that. So it's a new chapter, and it's a new thing. So.
Well, and for me, and I know this would be a huge discussion with people. A lot of people think a band should always, like take Metallica for example.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they started changing their sound up, everybody started complaining. Well, they don't sound like Metallica anymore. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, you know what? If they sound like they did 20 years ago forever, people are going to get bored with that,
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like a lot of people, it's like they like what they like. It's like their favorite pizza restaurant or something like that, that if they changed the recipe for their sauce or something like that, they'd be like, this sucks. But, as an artist, you're always trying to do something new, and you're trying, you don't want to get caught up in that, staleness of being in that same thing. So, us as a band, we really want to be able to experiment and, like this EP is where we're at right now, but, a year from now, we hope to be more developed and more, we just want to experiment with different things. So we hope to always keep evolving and not putting out the same records or the same music,
Exactly. So
some of the best bands over time, whether it be like Stone Temple Pilots, Led Zeppelin, or anything like that, they were bands that have just experimented, and there's songs that just totally come out of left field, and they're just not afraid musically to try anything. So I think there's something beautiful musically about that. So that's more where we want to be. That's like our headspace with music.
Well, that's cool, and like I said, as a fan, I appreciate that. I mean, my favorite band is Megadeth, and I love how they've changed. Every album has they do something different on it, and I love it.
Yeah, favorite Megadeth record. What's your favorite Megadeth record?
Oh, probably Rust in Peace.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Hangar 18, man.
Hangar 18?
Yeah, I love that song.
I was like, I guess I was probably 18. The band that I was in, we covered that song. So that was an accomplishment at a band at that young of an age. We were like, yeah, man, we're playing it note for note. It's pretty awesome.
That is very cool. Very cool. Okay, so this question is kind of just for you more. What kind of influences have you had in your life that made you get into music and made you keep want to do what you're doing?
Well, at an early age, my father and my uncle were in a band together, and so they practiced in the basement of where we lived. So there was always like music around. Like, I used to sit down in the basement on a keyboard and count the band in, be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'd let me, pretend like I was in the band. So that was my first taste around music. And then as I got a little older, I started, playing it probably around 12-ish, trying to take it more seriously. And then, at 13, I joined a band as a lead singer they were kind of like a little established around our area, and they needed a singer to go and to cut a demo in the studio. So I got the opportunity at a really young age to go in and record, and that kind of just got me in the bug. I was like, oh, I need to be around this type of thing. I just fell in love with it. So from there, played a ton of shows and opened for big bands and whatever. It's just a lifestyle and a passion, I guess. That there's sometimes I ask myself why I keep doing it, because there's definitely ups and downs, and sometimes it seems like there's more downs than there are ups, but it's a passion, and it's at this point it's all I really know.
and that's cool, man. I mean, and that kind of ups and downs and more downs and ups. I mean, that kind of goes with anything you do in life, it seems like. So. Yeah,
especially with art or anything that you're actually passionate about. It's I think it's a perseverance type thing. You just have to believe in what you believe in and just hold true to that.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact you get to do what you're passionate about and make a decent living from it, I mean, that's awesome,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not about the money, because it's like, sometimes there is no money.
Right.
There's, like I said, the ups and downs of it, it's a tough music business out there right now. But, it's just, like I said, it's a passion thing, and I really can't do anything else. I can't go sell cars, so I wouldn't sell any.
You could sing to the people while you're trying to sell them cars.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's talk about the current EP for a minute. What studio did you guys use to record at?
We went to NRG Studios in Hollywood, and we tracked the drums and some of the basic tracks there. Like, we all played in a room and actually jammed together to instead of doing it, so pieced together. We wanted to go for like a more band vibe. So we did it there with producer Neil Averon, who worked with like Switchfoot, Linkin Park, Everclear, Sarah Borealis, a bunch of different people. So we did it out there, the majority of it. And then we also went to Neil's home studio, which is right off Sunset.
Very good. And how long, when you guys started recording, how long did the process take for you guys from beginning to end?
Well, we did pre-production with Neil. He actually flew here to Pennsylvania for maybe like 3 days or something. We did it, and then I think it took us about 2 weeks to record everything. A little less than 2 weeks. So.
Okay, very good. I have to tell you, my favorite song right now from the EP is When We Fall, so just so you know.
Awesome.
I love that track. So, how did you guys come up with the name for the band? I'm sure that's a frequently asked question.
Well, it's obviously a Mother Love Bone song title. When we were, I don't know if you've ever tried to name a band or not these days.
I have not, no.
There's literally, like, you think of a name and there's 10 other bands using that same name.
Right.
So we ran into a lot of that, like we're like, oh, this would be a great name, and then, like I said, there'd be like 3 other bands using it. So, we were digging through books, we're digging through CDs and whatnot, and StarDog Champion, we came across that on the Mother Love Bone CD. And everyone was like, oh, that's really a cool name, because it's like, it's unique to the point where it's not like, they're 2 words that you don't ever really hear together.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like that type of it, and it had a ring and a flow to it. So we were like, yeah, we like that, and no one ever used it as a band name before. So, and then we started looking into like, bands that have used names of songs as their, the name of their band. And Radiohead's a Talking Head song. Godsmack is an Alice in Chains song. I think Rolling Stones is a Muddy Waters song. So there's definitely been some huge bands in the past that have went that route. So we were like, hey, well, can't be that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool.
So that's kind of where it came from. And, then there's the kind of, we've all been, fans of that early, I guess, Seattle alternative rock scene, the grunge scene, if you will, or whatever. We were all big fans of that when it came out, and still big fans of that today. So I think it's also kind of a nod to the whole scene. So there's that spin to it as well.
So if I asked you who your favorite grunge band is, would you be able to pick one out?
Favorite grunge band? I don't know. I would probably have to say Alice in Chains.
Yeah, high five to that. I'd agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for that band. I don't know what it is. Which is funny. We actually just played a show with them in St. Louis. I guess it was like May 12th, a little over a month ago. Which was it's obviously not with Wayne Staley, but
right.
Yeah, they were amazing too. They were great, and it was, I guess, one of those benchmark goals for myself or something like that. Like, holy shit, I'm playing with Alice in Chains.
Right, that's got to be pretty cool.
It was something small to some people, you know what I mean? But to me, it was like, oh, I got to play with, they're like my Rolling Stones as a kid, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was a neat accomplishment.
So who's your most favorite band that you've had the opportunity to play with?
The band. I mean, there's been bands that I like as people, that were great guys that I wouldn't necessarily say were the best band.
Right.
But I think probably one of my favorite bands that I've played with is probably Clutch. So it was years ago, but that was definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, they're up there on my list of great bands. So cool deal.
I opened for Warrant when I was be honest. I wouldn't say that was a highlight.
Come on, man, Cherry Pie, that's a great song.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Okay, if I grabbed your iPod or your MP3 player, however you like to listen to music, what bands would I find you listening to right now?
Oh, man, I'm kind of all over the place, really. I recently found this band called Graveyard, which they're not really all that new, but I think they're a Swedish band. They kind of just have this old... Have you ever heard of them?
I think I have, yeah.
They kind of have this, like, old 70s, like, just psychedelic rock vibe to them or something, which is just pretty cool. Like a Deep Purple vibe.
Uh-huh.
I've been digging on those guys a little bit. What else new? I kind of listen to all kinds of shit. I don't really know, like from Bruno Mars to fucking the new Megadeth record I was checking out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of listen to all kinds of stuff, and lately I write a lot of music too, so I get to a point where I'll be just engulfed in what I'm writing and what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm not listening to a lot of other stuff, but
Yeah, that's cool. Do you like to, and because I talk to some artists that like to do this, they'll, their music that they're writing, they'll lay down some tracks and that's what they'll listen to, and then they'll kind of tweak it from there.
Well, as far as listening to other...
No, they'll just take the stuff that they've written, and that's all they'll listen to, and they'll just listen to it over and over again just to...
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of that, because it's like, you tend to just be creative and you want to get engulfed in your little world of music. So I definitely have a lot of that going on. Like, I'll listen to, like I guess it was probably 2 days ago I was working on a tune and I probably heard it 300 times because of that same reason, like you're saying, because I'll be trying to work on a part, I'm just trying to vibe out on something, and you just put it on loop and you put it on repeat and you try to let your mind wander and get that cool melody or whatever you're going for.
Very cool. Okay, so where is a good place for people to find out more about StarDog Champion? I mean, what social networking and websites and stuff do you guys like to use?
Well, we're on all of them pretty much. Well, I don't know about all of them, but I mean the main ones. We're on, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the new MySpace, YouTube, Spotify. We're on all that stuff. So if you just search around at wherever you listen to music or wherever you like to go for your music, just search for StarDog Champion. We'll be there.
Very good. And you guys have merchandise out there for sale?
We do right now. It's not available online, but we have it on shows, and there will be some online stuff happening really soon. So.
Okay, very good. So I encourage everybody that listens to this interview to do a Google search for StarDog Champion, and you'll find everything you need. Check them out on Facebook. So, what do you define as success for this band? I mean, where do you hope to take all this to?
Obviously we want to, get it out to as many people and as big of an audience as we possibly can. But, I think success as a musician in general, I think it's to just be able to just support yourself, and to just be playing music. It doesn't need to be in tour buses and getting paid $1 million a performance. It's more about just being a musician and going out there and actually working. So I think that if we can just set a humble goal for ourselves and just go out there and rock, come to different towns and do our thing. We're not looking to play Madison Square Garden in every town. I mean, there's different levels of success, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we just want to be a hard-working band, and we're musicians, and that's what we do. So we're not afraid to get our hands dirty and get out there and just make money the old-fashioned way. just a little bit of work.
Right, I know. What's that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems so many times these days with bands, you know, it's like they're either all or nothing. You know, they're like, oh, well, we didn't get signed to this, you know, $1 million record deal, so now we can't exist as a band. It's like, well, there's other ways, and, you know, if you put a little bit of hard work in, you'll build a following if you're good, and, you know, I just think people don't want to work for it anymore. It's either, like I said, it's all or nothing, and if it doesn't come handed to them, or if they're not an overnight success, it's treated as like a failure. But I think if you just stick with it and do your thing, you know, you'll find your own success.
And there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I talk to a lot of bands that don't have labels, but they work hard, and they're doing pretty successfully without that part. So
yeah. I mean, you know, with the internet and everything, and you know, internet radio stations like you guys, you know, you have people out there that support music at levels that we didn't have years ago. So I mean, it's easier to get your word out there, you know. So.
And definitely, I mean, because without all the fans and without the listeners, I mean, without the fans, the band is nothing, and without the listeners, the station's nothing. I mean, it's all a big circle, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we enjoy what we do. You know, we just getting these bands out there, new bands, upcoming bands, unsigned bands. You know, get them on the air, get them out there to the people to listen to, and let them make the decision whether they like them or not. And if they do, you know, good.
Yeah.
You know, if all I do is make one new fan for you, I've succeeded as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. And that's how we approach shows too. You know, it's like if we make one new fan, we made one new fan, and I think that's what it's about. You know, it's just about being true to yourself and just, you know, playing and, you know, letting the chips fall where they may, and you know, hopefully people enjoy what we're doing.
Yep. So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a live show? And when I say crazy, it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Craziest thing. I don't know. Played like 1 million shows. I can't think of one crazy thing. I mean, just back in the day, I've dropped my pants on stage a couple times. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that works.
I've thrown up on stage, you know, and not because I was drunk. It was, you know, back in Lifer, I used to scream a lot, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes you get like a tickle in your throat or something like that. So
right.
It just happened, and like, oh shit, something's coming. It was just like projectile vomiting between lines of the verse. So that was pretty interesting.
Did you tell the people up front after that to start bringing raincoats to shows?
Yeah, right. It turned into like a war show. It's real puke.
Okay, now it's time for the most important question of the interview. So I hope you're ready.
Okay.
Who in the band with StarDog Champion spends the most time in front of a mirror before you guys do a show?
I don't know. It's probably me, I guess. Although I don't spend that much time in front of the mirror, I would say it's probably the most out of everyone. But you know, if that 30 seconds is considered the most.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really, you know, we don't wear makeup, or we don't.
You're not pretty boys.
That vibe, so you know, I think I consider us, we're a good-looking bunch of guys, but we're not, you know, we're not putting on foundation and hairspray and whatnot.
Right. Okay, cool, man. All right. Anything else you would like to tell everybody that'll hear this interview about you guys? Anything I have not asked you want to make sure people know about StarDog Champion?
I don't know. I guess just give us a listen. You know, if you're fans of our past bands like Lifer and Breaking Benjamin, like I was saying, it's not Lifer or Breaking Benjamin Part 2, but you know, we believe that it's some honest rock and honest rock tunes. And, yeah, I mean, just keep an open mind and hope you enjoy it.
Okay, well, and I will continue to play you guys on my show, and I will continue to help spread the word for you guys as well. So that'll be my little part.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So the last thing I'd like to ask, I would love a couple of radio tags from you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So the first one, you can just say your name and say that you're listening to rockaddictradio.com.
Okay. Hi, this is Nick from StarDog Champion, and you're listening to rockaddictradio.com.
And then the second one, if you can do the same thing, but just say that you're listening to DJ REM at Rock Addict Radio.
Okay. Hi, this is Nick from StarDog Champion, and you're listening to DJ REM at rockaddictradio.com.
Okay, very cool, man. Once again, thank you for taking some time out of your day-to-day to talk to me. I totally appreciate that. And
thanks for having me.
Once I get this edited, I'll get it up on YouTube, and then I'll spread the links around. And my interview page, I just was looking today, is up over 7,000 views, so I'm slowly getting there.
Awesome. That's great.
So I hadn't checked it in a while, and the last time I checked it was like under 6, so I was like, whoa, how'd that happen?
Something's working.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, man, well, thanks again, and you take care.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Tell the other guys in the band I said hi, too, please.
I will, and hopefully we'll see you when we get out to Michigan.
Yep, I will be following that to see what happens.
Cool, man.
All right, take care.
Thanks, you too.
Yep, bye.